make that trip again, although for many of the Steelers this is a first time over, and Jory, we were seeing that a little bit from the guys today.
Yeah, well, before we start talking about making this an annual event, we've got to get through this game first. We haven't even gotten there, and there's a very tired football team back at that hotel right now, some of whom are on no sleep right now. It was a busy day. Took the red eye over, got in, had a media session for about a half a dozen players, then went to practice, and finally, in the mid-afternoon hours, was the first time this team actually had a chance to relax. Now, coming up at 5:30, we'll hear from Ike Taylor, who basically stole the show today at that media session. The reporters there fell in love with him, and he, as he'll tell you at 5:30, fell in love with their accent. You'll hear from Mike Taylor coming up at 5:30.
Yeah, the Steelers arrived in London after taking the red eye there overnight. Jory Rand is along for the ride and the experience, and he joins me now live as the Steelers, I'm sure, a very tired group of players after that long trip and then a long day of practice and media obligations. Jory, what's going on?
Yeah, it's been a long day to get over here and get things going. I think the NFL didn't expect to have a pair of 0-3 teams in this showcase in London, but that's exactly what they've got. 0-3 Steelers against the 0-3 Vikings on Sunday, and it might not come down to who plays better on Sunday. It might just come down to who can stay awake.
Sleep. Well, we have to work. You asked what the best thing would be, but we'll get some rest. But we're gonna, it's just about getting back into the routine. We're gonna go have meetings here in a little bit, and for us, we'll be in meeting rooms very similar to like we would be back home, and we'll have our playbooks, and we'll just get right back into the routine of what it would be if today was a normal Friday back in Pittsburgh.
Trip is a little different for us, but I'm trying to embrace it and enjoy it.
Have you slept at all?
How do I look?
You look tired.
Yeah, it's a strange trip.
Yeah, Sean Sweezen was hurting today big time. That guy needed a nap. Now, Mike Tomlin wanted to keep as much normalcy in this as possible, and it was normal. Steelers had a Thursday practice and they had a Friday practice. Only difference is it was separated by a red-eye flight over here, a train trip, a trip on a bus, and a lot of time in between. But other than that, just the same. Now, today the Steelers practiced at the home of the London Wasps Rugby Club, and standing by watching their practice today were some members of that professional rugby club who themselves thought about maybe joining the American footballers, maybe not.
I don't know. I look at American football players and think they're nuts because like some of the collisions that they go into is pretty full on. But then I've heard that they think the same about rugby players, so I don't really know.
They're big lads, aren't they?
They are big.
Yeah, they're big lads.
You guys are pretty big.
I don't know. They're like 6'7" though. I'm not 6'7".
Yeah, pretty tall.
Huh? Yeah, they are. They're big boys.
Do you think you could play with them?
I'll give it a crack. Give it a good crack.
Yeah, Steelers better watch out. These guys are coming for their jobs. That's going to do it for us here in London for now. We'll have more coming up at 11 o'clock as the Steelers prepare for their Sunday showdown against the Minnesota Vikings. For now, live in London, Jory Rand, KDKA TV Sports.
Jory, you look great. It's only midnight there. Go out, have a good time. He hasn't slept in 20 hours, but that's all part of the experience.
I don't care if Jory sleeps, but I want the Steelers to get some sleep.
Yeah,
so
well, they need it.
Ready to
Minnesota's
go,
been out there all week. Different approaches for
Yeah.
two different teams. We'll see how it works.
All right, thanks, Bob.
All right.
All right, Bob, thanks a lot. Let's turn things over to Jeff with a